You already know what you want to be, but you want to be everything at once. The writer, the strategist, the designer, the founder, the creative director who also publishes her essay on Substack and who also designs things by hands. You have made the vision board, you have read the books, you have even started a Google Docs called Life Plan at least 3 times. And every time you sit down to actually choose, you freeze. Hi Brainy Baddies, I am Twinkle. I study what actually makes smart women powerful, so make sure to like and subscribe. And if you've been here before, you already know we don't do any surface level stuff on this channel. We do the psychology, we do the systems, we actually dive deep into the research to understand the why behind the topics. And in that spirit, here's the entire flow of today's video. So let's get into it. In 1963, Sylvia Plath published a book called The Bell Jar. It's very famous, and it's fine if you don't know that. But what you need to know is that in that book, she wrote the most psychologically precise descriptions of what ambition actually looks like. And in it, she wrote one of the most psychologically precise descriptions of ambitions I've ever read. She described it as a fig tree. And if you want to understand this concept, imagine that you are sitting under a fig tree and each fig describes a different life path. A brilliant career, a loving marriage, a life abroad, a life in art, a life in academia. And the woman sitting beneath the tree was starving. And yeah, clearly it was not because there was not any fruit in that tree. It was because she couldn't decide which fig to reach for. And so she sat and she waited. And while she waited, all the figs on that tree rotted. Now, most people have read that as choice anxiety. I like to present a different perspective here. Barry Schwartz spent decades of studying what happens when we are given too many choices, and he called it as paradox of choice, which means that the more options which are available to us, the more difficult it becomes to choose one out of them. And the thing that got buried under Schwartz's research is that the real problem isn't having too many options. The real problem is that we are trying to choose something permanently. Kahneman called it as loss aversion, and he explained it like we feel the pain of losing something twice as intensely as we feel the pleasure of actually gaining it. So every time you try to commit to one path, your brain starts running the numbers. And the numbers look like this. Gain one thing and lose everything else. And this fake understanding of choice is what is keeping us frozen. And frozen state of mind does not build anything. So I have broken it down into 3 layers to tell you exactly why this frozen state of mind happens. Stay with me here. It happens in 3 layers, and layer number 1 is when you keep all the doors open. There's a concept in developmental psychology where someone commits to an identity without even exploring the alternatives first. Sure, it may look like, oh my god, she's so confident from the outside, but it is actually avoidance. Avoidance to know what other possible alternatives there could be. Now, the opposite of this is just as dangerous, where one has too many options, but they cannot commit and they cannot take actions. Now, here's how your brain works. Your brain is trying to protect you from first trap, the trap of identity commitment. And that is exactly why you fall straight into the second trap, which is to keep all the doors open, thinking that it is actually freedom. But what you fail to understand is that if you open too many doors, eventually it will become noise. And noise will also prevent the forward motion. It will prevent you from taking any action. Now you must be wondering, yeah, I get that, Twinkle, but what's the fix? And let me tell you, the fix is simple. You do not have to choose forever. The fix is to choose just for now with enough commitment so that you can actually build an evidence of the life path, whether it is a yes or a no. So I want you to let that sink in, that you have to choose for now, not permanently, just for now. Now the layer number 2 is the multi-potentialite trap. Emily Wapnick gave a TED talk in 2015 called Why Some of Us Don't Have a True Calling. She coined the term multi-potentialite. Someone who has multiple interests actually thrives by synthesizing it across the domains. Her research is legitimate. Multi-potentiality is real. But then the internet does what it does. And then suddenly, having 68 interests were not seen as a problem. It was seen as an identity, a badge, a personality type. And this phrase that I am multi-potentialite became a shorthand for I don't have to choose. But let me tell you that you do have to choose. Not the till death do us part, but for now, you have to choose. The goal of understanding your multi-potentiality is not to use it as an excuse. It is actually to design a quality life around it. Because there is a difference between someone who thrives across all their domains of interest and someone who uses this as a way to never even go deep. Deep is where the power lies. So even if multi-potentiality is your identity, I want to understand it from you. What is that one domain that you have actually seen the depths of? Now, layer number 3, the system versus the season, which is trying to choose forever. See, the last layer is the most practical one. Most women I talk to who can't commit are trying to build a system for their entire life, when all they need is actually a structure or a system for this particular season of life that they are living in. There is a reason that even the great architects design in phases. You don't build the whole building before you even know what the foundation holds, can you? So instead of asking, what do I want to do with my life, which by the way is a question that is designed to make you freeze, ask yourself, what do I want to build evidence for? Right now, in the next 90 days. That is the evidence that you're going to build for this season. So now here's my question to you. When was the last time you actually committed to something? Not because you were sure that it was the right thing to do, but because you were willing to find out whether it was right or wrong. Because most of us are waiting for proof of concept before we actually commit, and we fail to understand that the proof of concept comes to the surface when we actually do the work. And I hope that by now you know that why you are frozen and stuck in your life. It is because you've been trying to look at the entire staircase before even taking the first step. That is not how stepping up works. So here's what I actually want you to walk away with. I am calling this the seasonal commitment framework. And it has only got 3 simple moves that you can start immediately now. Move number 1. Name your season. Just how you cannot choose to live in one season for your entire life, but you can choose it for 90-day experiment. Give your season a name. Give it a direction. Is it motherhood? Is it studentship? Is it internship? What is it called? Or you can go down into the goal. For example, this season I am building my writing muscle. Or this season I go all in into my YouTube. Or this season I find out what field I actually want to work in. Like this season for me is to go all in into AI and integrate into my YouTube. So what is your version of your season? Name it, write it down, make it specific enough to be real. Move number 2, one primary and one adjacent. These are for multi-potentialite. I am not asking you, if you've watched this video this far, I am not asking you to abandon all your other interests. What I'm asking you is that you need to have a hierarchy sorted. Primary interest has to be your deep focus, and then one adjacent thing gets your creative flow. Not 5, not 3, 1 and 1. The primary one is to build the evidence, and the adjacent one is to keep you whole as a person. Now moving on to move number 3, define your exit criteria. This is the most underrated move of all and nobody talks about it. Before you begin committing to one season, decide that what signal you would need to see whether that path is right or wrong for you, and by when. Put a specific marker to it. For example, if you're trying to build your writing muscle, your marker could look something like this, that if I write 10 content pieces by June and I still feel nothing, I'm not excited about that work, I'll reconsider it. In a similar fashion, it looks something like this for me, that if I can talk about AI and teach it to my community and other people, then I will keep learning more about it and I'll keep integrating it into my content. See, the concept of this exit criteria is to remove the guilt of pivoting. Because if you pivot from something without even considering why you did that, your brain will probably register it as another failure. And we don't want to do that. We have to consider these 90-day seasons as our experiments, right? So take it that way. And understand that the fig tree does not rot because you have too many options. It rots because you never really built a system for testing them. That's it for today's video. If you felt a little seen or a little challenged or honestly both, like this video and share it with your friends so that you can start planning out your next season together. And subscribe because this is exactly the type of thing we do here every week. I will see you next week in next video.